So hi everyone, this is Raj. In this video I'll be talking about the drift current within a semiconductor. So from the name I guess uh, you can guess that this type of current is somehow related to the drift velocity of the semiconductor. So what was the drift velocity? The drift velocity was the velocity at which the charge carriers within the semiconductors, they are moving in the presence of a external electric field. If there is no external electric field, then there is no drift velocity, and if there is no drift velocity, then there is no drift current. So the drift velocity is needed to measure the drift current. So if we try to define the drift current, then we can say that the current within the semiconductor due to the presence of an external electric field. That is known as drift current. So suppose if I draw a semiconductor body, suppose this is a semiconductor solid which is connected to an external electric field. Suppose this plane is positive and this plane is having a negative charge, and this is a voltage source that is connected with the semiconductor. So of course the electric field direction is from left to right. So if I talk about the electrons, the free electrons which are roaming within this semiconductor solid, within the interatomic distance of the silicon crystals within the semiconductor solid, they will experience a force, a pull from right to left, because the positive terminal is at the left side. So all this free electron will get a pull by this positive terminal. So if I consider the drift velocity, one second, if I talk about the drift velocity, and that is Vd, and the length of the semiconductor, that is L, and the average time taken by electrons to cover the L distance is equal to the T. Then the current density, if I talk about the current density, that is the current per unit area. So that is denoted by J. It is I by A if I current is flowing through this semiconductor. So if I talk about the current I, that is the rate of change of charge within the semiconductor. So that is Q by T. So if there are n number of electrons present within the semiconductor, within a cross section of the semiconductor, then the I can be written as nq by t. And from the kinematics we know that length is always equal to velocity into time. So if I replace this t with the help of this L by Vd, then of course this I equal to nq n into q into Vd by L. So if I replace this I value in this formula, we can get nq Vd by Al. So if this area, this cross sectional area of the semiconductor is A and this length is L, then the volume of the semiconductor is actually A into L. Okay, I will write it. Where can I write? Okay, writing here. The volume of the semiconductor is A into L. So this is actually the volume of the semiconductor. So if there are n number of electrons are present within the semiconductor and that is divided by the volume of the semiconductor, then we can get the electron density, because electron density is the number of electrons that are present within the unit volume of this semiconductor, and that is denoted by n, small n. So that is nqvd, that is the current density. Where n is the density of electrons. So now I will rub this and we will be going ahead with this formula. So in the last video we talked about mobility and how mobility of the charge carriers are measured. The mobility, the formula was mobility equal to the drift velocity of the charge carriers divided by the external electric field. So if I calculate the drift velocity of the charge carriers within the semiconductors, and if I measure the applied external electric field, and if I do the ratio between these two, then we get the mobility of the charge carriers. And what is the significance of this quantity, mobility? Mobility tells us how fast the charge carriers are moving from one place to another place within the semiconductor in presence of that particular external electric field. How fast they are moving within the semiconductor, that is measured with this quantity, mobility. So we had that formula. If you don't have a good idea of mobility, you can check my last video. So from there we can write Vd equal to mu e, drift velocity is equal to mobility into electric field, external electric field that is applied across the semiconductor. So we can replace this Vd with this mu e. So J is equal to NQ mu E. And we know one thing, that current density is equal to conductivity into electric field. We have studied this formula in our 10+2 level. So of course, if I compare this equation number 1 with this equation number 2, then of course we can write that conductivity sigma is equal to NQ mu. So if we talk about N-type semiconductor, then of course the majority charge carriers are electrons. So if we talk about the conductivity, then of course the that is equal to the density of the electrons into electronic charge into the mobility of the electrons. If we talk about the conductivity of N-type, if we talk about P-type semiconductor, then of course if we talk about the conductivity of P-type semiconductor, then that is equal to P, that indicates the density of holes within the semiconductor, electronic charge, and the mobility of holes. And suppose we are talking about some intrinsic semiconductor, and at a temperature which is greater than the 0 Kelvin temperature, then of course there must be breaking of bonds, and there must be some number of electrons as well as some number of holes. So then we need to consider both of the charge carriers for our conductivity calculation. So for intrinsic, that is NQ mu N plus PQ mu P. Whereas in case of N-type semiconductor also, the thing is the formula is same, but as we are considering the N-type material, then the density of electrons within the semiconductor that is high, and the density of holes within the semiconductor is very low. So that is why we are neglecting this part. So that is why we are only writing this. But if we in a specific case we need this formula, then we will use it. But in general, in case of N-type material, if there is no mention of density of holes, then we don't need to use this formula. We will use directly this formula. So this is the formula of conductivity. So if I talk about the resistivity, then resistivity is the reciprocal of conductivity. So resistivity is NQ mu. So if I talk about the resistivity for an N-type semiconductor, then that is 1 by sigma n, and that is equal to 1 by NQ mu n. And if I talk about the resistivity for the p-type material, then that is 1 by sigma p, and the formula is pq mu p. If I talk about the resistivity for the intrinsic type semiconductor, then that is 1 by nq mu n plus pq mu p. This is the formula. So now if I talk about the current densities, then if I consider about the intrinsic type semiconductor, then of course the current density J is equal to nq mu n plus pq mu p. That is the conductivity into E. So you can write it nq mu n E plus pq mu p E. So if I talk about the drift, this is drift current density. Okay, this is drift current density. I am considering the intrinsic semiconductor because if we deal with the n-type semiconductor, then of course the density of holes are very low compared to the density of electrons. So of course that time this term will get cancelled out. And if we talk about the p-type semiconductor, then n the value of n which is denoted by the density of electrons that are very low compared to the density of the holes. So that time this term, this nq mu n, this term will get cancelled out, or this will be in more or less equal to 0. So we don't need to worry about this part there. And if we talk about the p-type, if we talk about the n-type material, then we don't need to worry about this part. And if we consider the p-type material, then we need to reject this part. But in case of intrinsic type semiconductor, we need to consider both of them, because in intrinsic type semiconductor there are two types of semiconductor that are present, more or less in a same proportion. So that is why we are dealing with the intrinsic type semiconductor, because this is the generalized case for both of the semiconductors. So this is the drift current density. If I talk about the drift current, then I is equal to J into A, because J, the current density was I by A, so I equal to J into A. So we can write I drift is equal to nq mu n EA plus PQ mu P EA. So this is the formula for drift current. So I guess up to this everything is clear. So now we will discuss the resistivity of metal and the resistivity of semiconductor. We will have a discussion on the resistivity of a conductor and the resistivity of semiconductor. What is the basic difference between the resistivity of both of these materials? So we will talk about this using a graph and using a theoretical explanation and understanding the concept behind this. So if I draw the resistivity temperature curve, I will first draw it, I will first draw it for semiconductor. So the first picture is for semiconductor, and I will draw the same curve considering conductor. So here it is the curve for conductor. So right now I will be at first draw the curve, then I will go into the explanation of the curve. So if I deal with a semiconductor, then we can see that when the temperature rises, the resistivity decreases. That means if I increase the temperature, the resistance, or rather I will say the resistivity of the semiconductor gets decreased. That means if I increase the temperature, the semiconductor will resist the flow of current lower. The more I will increase the temperature, the less the semiconductor will resist the flow of electron. If I increase the temperature, the current value will get increased in case of semiconductor. But in case of metal, the resistivity is increasing with the increase of temperature. That means if I increase the temperature, the resistivity of the semiconductor or the conductor, here I am talking about the conductor. So if I talk about the conductor, if I increase the temperature, then the resistivity, or I will say the resistance of the conductor, it gets increased. That means the more I increase the temperature, the more it will resist the current, which is actually exactly the opposite scenario of the scenario which was shown in case of semiconductor. In semiconductor, if I rise the temperature, the more I will rise the temperature, the more the current will flow easily, or you can say the less the current will get resisted. But in case of conductor, the more I will rise the temperature, the more it will feel, the current will feel resisted. So this type of difference is this type of difference can be seen within these two cases. So now we will try to understand what is the basic difference, or why this is happening. Semiconductor is also allowing to flow the current through it, and the conductor is doing the same thing. But why they are behaving so different, or rather I will say why they are behaving exactly opposite to each other. So if I talk about the conductors first, so what we know about the conductor, that conductors have 10 to the power 23 to 10 to the power 29 number of free electrons within a unit volume. That means there are enormous number of free electrons which are present within the semiconductor, at our room temperature. So if I increase the temperature further, then the concentration of the electron will get increased more. That means the collision between the electrons will occur very rapidly. That means the average relaxation time between the collisions of the electron will get decreased. And what that means? We have seen the mobility formula, that mobility is equal to Q tau by me star. Okay. If I talk about the n type, then if we are, as in this case we are discussing about the conductors, and in case of conductors we only consider about the free electrons as our charge carriers. There is no concept of holes within the within the conductor. So in metals there are only one universal charge carriers, only electrons. So we are only concerned about the mobility of the electrons here. So here the me star is the effective mass of the electron, Q is the electronic charge, and tau is the relaxation time. So if, and there is one negative sign, if I talk about the only the magnitude, then if the tau decreases, then of course the mobility decreases. So if tau decreases, then of course the mobility of the free electrons that get decreased, and if tau decreases, then of course we know that conductivity, that is mu n q mu. So if mu decreases, then of course the conductivity decreases. So that means the conductivity decreases, and we know that resistivity is 1 by conductivity. So if the conductivity decreases, then the resistivity increases, because they are inversely proportional to each other. So that is why the resistivity is increasing in case of conductor. So this is the explanation of the curve for conductor. So if I am talking about the semiconductors now, then here also I am increasing the temperature. So, but what is the basic difference between the semiconductor and conductor? That is, in case of conductor, there are 10 to the power 23 to 10 to the power 29 number of free electrons within a unit volume. But in case of semiconductor, there are only 10 to the power 10 to 10 to the power 13 number of free electrons that are present in unit volume in a semiconductor. So there are not, this is not a huge number compared to the semiconductor. This is a very less number in case of, because here you can see, if I take 10 to the power 12 average, and from here if I take 10 to the power 26 average, then it is 10 to the power 26, and it is for conductor. And in case of semiconductor, if we take an average of 10 to the power 12, then of course there is a different, the number of electrons which is present in the conductor, they are 10 to the power 14 times of the number of electrons that are present within a semiconductor in a unit volume. So of course you can imagine that in comparison with conductor, this number of electron is nothing when we are considering the semiconductor in comparison with the conductor. So of course we are not bothered, I mean, about the relaxation time here. So what is the effect of temperature within the semiconductor? If we increase the temperature, the more number of covalent bond will get broken down. So that means the more number of charge carrier will get generated, the more number of electron will, I mean, the more number of covalent bond will get destroyed. That means the more number of electrons and holes will get generated within the semiconductor. That means the charge carrier density will get increased due to increase in temperature. That means if I talk about, if I consider it as an n-type material, then of course the density of electron will get increased. And we know that if I talk about the n-type semiconductor, then the conductivity is n q mu n. So as there are less number of electrons, free electrons present within the semiconductors, then we are not bothered of the effect of temperature on the mobility. Of course there will be collision between the electrons more rapidly, but the change within the mobility, that is not significant, because the number of electrons are very less, so they have enough space to move. The interatomic space which is available to the electrons, that is sufficient for the electrons to move randomly. So here the change that occurred in this density of electron, that is more significant than the change in mobility. So as n increases, so of course this conductivity increases, and we know that resistivity is 1 by conductivity. So if conductivity increases, then resistivity decreases. So the conductivity increases, that means the resistivity decreases. So this is the scientific explanation of both of these phenomena. So now I think it is much clear to you that why the resistivity of the conductors or metals that get increased with the increase in temperature, and in case of semiconductor, with the increase in temperature the resistivity get decreased. So up to this I think everything is clear to you. If not, you can ask me in the comment section. I will try to solve your queries. I will try to solve your doubts. So thank you very much. So take care. Bye bye.